Hi, I'm Erin Clark from wellplated.com, and today I'm taking a recipe that you thought that you knew and making it so much more delectable and easier too. These are my Instant Pot mashed potatoes. Gotta be honest, every Thanksgiving I didn't really get what the big fuss with mashed potatoes was all about, and it turns out there are a lot of mediocre mashed potato recipes out there. So I decided to see if I could come up with a recipe that I would not only want to eat at Thanksgiving, but year-round, and this is it. And one of my secrets to success is actually the kind of potato that you use. So I love to use Yukon Golds. They have a really nice kind of buttery flavor. You just want to start out by peeling your potatoes. You don't have to be super scientific about it. If you have a few little peels that get left in there, that's completely fine. So I love Yukon Golds because compared to russets, they are a lot creamier. And that means that by using them, you end up with creamier mashed potatoes right from the start without having to add a lot of other excess fat. Okay, let's get those peels out of there. And now I'm gonna chop the mashed potato into rough 1-inch chunks. I'd say that looks about 1-inch-ish. Just look at this beautiful buttery golden color. All right, potatoes are sliced, so now it is time to get everybody in the pot for the party. I'm gonna start out by grabbing 3/4 cup of really hot tap water. All right, hot water going in. And now I'm going to add one of the most important ingredients to any recipe, especially mashed potatoes, and that is salt. You want 2 generous teaspoons. It's really important that the potatoes actually cook in salty water. It's one of the ways that flavor gets into the potatoes. Give this a little stir to dissolve the salt. And then to make it really easy to get the potatoes out later, I'm gonna use the little steamer basket that came with the Instant Pot. Put that guy right in there. And now we just add our potatoes. So now we are going to let the Instant Pot work its magic. I'm gonna seal the lid. That is the sound of something delicious about to happen. And you wanna cook it on high pressure for 8 minutes. It'll take the Instant Pot about 10 minutes to come to pressure, at which point this timer will kick in and then we will vent to release it immediately. So while this gets going, I am going to chop up some of the herbs that are gonna give these mashed potatoes wonderful flavor. I think part of why I thought that mashed potatoes were pretty ho-hum in the past was that there really wasn't a lot to the recipe besides potatoes and cream. And yes, I know potatoes and cream are tasty, but there's just so much more that you can do. So demand more of your mashed potatoes. You're gonna thank yourself later. I'm starting out with some chives. I absolutely love chives. I think they're kind of an underappreciated herb, but they're so wonderful with mashed potatoes. If you've ever had a baked potato topped with chives, it's kind of a similar idea. They're just a really natural, wonderful flavor pairing together. I'm going for about 3 tablespoons here, and if you think that I'm eyeballing this, you are 100% right. This is a pretty flexible recipe, so you can always add herbs to taste. The next herb that I love adding to mashed potatoes is fresh thyme. Do not be tempted to use dried. This recipe has very few ingredients, so it's really important that each one of them is good quality. And while dried herbs do in a pinch sometimes, for this recipe, you definitely want to go fresh. So you don't need the stems, we're just looking to get these cute little leaves. The stems are a little bit kind of woody and crunchy, so what I like to do is kind of hold it firmly at the top like this, and then I just whoop, zip my finger down and it pulls the leaves right off. Thyme is a little more potent than chives, so you don't need quite as many. For about 3 tablespoons of chives, I'll do a ½ teaspoon of thyme. All right, my herbs are ready, so now I just have to hang out and wait for these guys to finish up. That, my friends, is the sound of some mashed potato magic. I'm gonna go ahead and vent it to release the pressure immediately because these potatoes don't need a minute more of cook time. Here we go. Woo! All right, I'm gonna carefully remove the lid, stand back unless you want an Instant Pot steam facial. Okay, and now I'm gonna use the steamer basket to lift the potatoes right out. Now, it might be tempting if you are kind of bopping around the kitchen, doing different things to sort of let the potatoes hang out in here, but you really wanna get them drained right away, otherwise they'll become gummy. It's totally worth it, so just make yourself not multitask and get those potatoes right out. Every last little tasty potato out of there. ditch my extra water. And now I'm actually gonna put this right back into my Instant Pot. And I'm gonna add my potatoes back in here too, and this way I can just mix them all up in this one single pot right here. All right, now that our potatoes are perfectly cooked, we are going to add a few more ingredients to give them even more fabulous flavor. We need a little more seasoning. I'm gonna add an additional ½ teaspoon salt, pepper, keeping it classic, some butter. I mean, these are mashed potatoes after all. And now this is one of my all-time favorite ingredients, and it makes the potatoes so incredibly creamy, and that is Greek yogurt. I'm using 2% Greek yogurt. You need about a cup, and handily enough, these individual containers contain about a cup. So if 2% Greek isn't something that you usually buy, this is a great way to get just the amount that you need without having an entire tub stuck in your fridge. A lot of mashed potato recipes call for sour cream or cream cheese, but I actually really like the Greek yogurt in here. I think it has just the right amount of tang, and because it's high protein, I don't feel quite as bad when I'm going back for extra servings of mashed potatoes. I'm going to add in our beautiful herbs that we chopped earlier. And now you could do this by hand with a potato masher or potato ricer, but you know what my secret is? I just use a hand blender and I put it right inside the Instant Pot. It could not be any easier. So you can keep mixing until they reach the texture that you like. I like to leave mine just a tiny bit chunky because I like having those little bites of buttery potato. Now, we just have one more ingredient to add, and that is some freshly ground Parmesan cheese. It adds just a little bit of nuttiness and extra burst of flavor in every bite. So give that just one last little mix. And now your potatoes are ready to serve. Just to kind of show you, look at how fluffy and creamy these are. They taste like they contain an entire stick of butter, but you saw it, it's just a couple tablespoons, and since we have the creamy, buttery Yukon Gold potatoes, that's truly all you need. This is my absolute favorite mashed potato recipe. I get seconds of it every single time I serve it, and I know that it is going to be a hit in your kitchen too. Thank you so much for watching. Again, I'm Erin, and you can find this recipe and hundreds more at my website, wellplated.com.